Hi, guys. Welcome to the Flock Podcast. This is a little bit of everything. It kind of stays the same, but we keep every episode a little different. So if you like what you hear and you dig the vibe, make sure you click the clickables. You can become a member. You can get some merch. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in there too. There's a lot of clickables. Just go click them. How's that sound? All right, that's what we're gonna do. Those links are in the show notes. Tonight we are just doing some. Oh God, I just clicked something. We are doing some random topics off of the map tonight. I did see a couple comments on the TikTok that I did. So we are also on the TikToks here as well as the YouTube. Hello, everyone. Hi, how are we? Hello. Hello. Hi. Damn, everyone's here. Hey. Hey. So there's a couple things that I wanted to cover tonight, and then I'm just gonna kind of like open the chat up and see what you guys want to talk about. Hey guys, welcome in. Hello. So one of the comments let's pull the map up first. Let's do that. So we're gonna pull the map up here. Maybe. So for those of you, side note, I'm gonna sidebar for a second. For those of you that don't know, my cat had kittens and they are currently destroying my shack right now. So if you hear shit in the background, just pay no mind to that. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Here's the map. I know it's tiny. It's like super tiny. But one of the things that got brought up in the comments, and this is going to be a little bit of a touchy subject, this one, but I want to take a different approach to it. So Q was one of the things that got brought up in the comments of the TikTok that I did. And here's what I want to say about Q. First of all, because I followed Q for a while. And I believe that, and these are just my opinions. I should have a disclaimer that like I'm not a doctor or a fucking scientist or anything, but here's how I feel about Q. I think that Q started with good intent. I think that it was a group of high level individuals that were trying to get people to start thinking outside of the box. I think that they were trying to bring light to a lot of dark shit and kind of expose, hey, if X, Y, and Z happens, then this is going to happen. They knew about the disclosure. They knew about all of the things. They knew about the white hats. They knew about the elites. They knew about the pedo ring and all of that. And as you can see around, oops, we're over here. As you can see around this, right? Like when you look at the map and you look at one thing, pay attention to the things that are surrounding it, right? Especially over on this side. And I'm not going to say a lot of these things because it will get me banned on multiple platforms. But here's what I think. I think that there was a point in time where Q was getting a lot of attention and it got hijacked, just like everything else in this fucking world. And I think that when it got hijacked and everybody started diving into it and everybody was reading into all these things and looking for the dates and they were finding these clues that had dates connected to them, anything with a date connected to it was a false flag, was a mislead, was it being hijacked, because the true purpose of Q, the way that I understand it and from the research that I've done on it, is that it was little drops and it was little cues of domino effects that would happen. There's no way that they could put a date on things because there was no way to know when those dominoes were going to fall. Does that make sense? Like anything with a date on it was a false cue drop, the way that I understand it and the way that I went about researching it. So this, if you're looking at the map, where we're starting here is this bottom left-hand corner, and there's a whole circle in the map that has Q in it, and it goes into there's a whole Q map. There's an entire map, just like the Great Awakening map, that all has to do with Q. The high-ranking military intelligence, the Anons, the Patriots, the people that were going out and arresting people, the white hats. It's definitely a place to start, and it's definitely something that you're going to run across on your research as you start researching these things. Now, the other thing that I want to point out about this map, which kind of leads into this, Q, so can you please dumb it down a little bit for us that haven't learned much about this yet? So the way that I understand it is Q stands for QAnon, to question everything. And it also, you'll hear a lot of Q with 17. It's associated with 17 because it's the 17th letter in the alphabet, right? And the Q map and the 8 chain and the 4 chain, that was a whole chat that had everything on it. But from my understanding is the Q is to question everything and to drop the answers from this anonymous group. That's the way that I understand it. Yep, there you go. Q is the group, what they call it, question everything possible. Cheers. We have a cheers screen. I'll show you guys in a little bit. The other thing that I want to point out about this map, though, hold on. Oh, my mouse hold on a second. We're having fucking cord problems here. It's supposed to be wireless, but it doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't work wireless. So we have to be wired with the mouse. So when you zoom out on this and you look at this thing on a whole, you see all these different lines and these circles and all these things that are connected. What I think is really interesting about this map is that when you look at it, you see the Escape the Matrix at the bottom here, right? And then you see this dome. It's the only one on the map that isn't a complete circle. And right over here on the edge of this dome, it has everything you learned in school is wrong. Now, right on the outside of that here is this little chemical compound, is the chemical compound for DMT. DMT is all over this map. It's actually right here too. Like if you look, there it is, rather, DMT. So if we think about this as like everything in this, you need to understand in order to break out of the psyop of everything, right? So if like that's then everything outside of that dome helps you understand that the world isn't round chasing the sun through space at, what is it, 983 million fucking miles. I don't know the math, but it's ridiculous anyway. So DMT is, so your brain naturally produces DMT. And what DMT is, it tastes like a starship. That's very metallic is the only way that I can describe it. And actually the person who created this map did that too. And what it is that if you go up to the corner here, let me show you this. If we go up here, does it say it on here? Hold on a second. There was, maybe it was down further. So there's a thing about DMT on here, 5 milligrams of DMT in complete darkness. And that's where you like break into the other realm. Like it helps. It's a psychedelic, and what it does is it brings you into this alternate reality, and you can get these like massive downloads and like break through all of these codes. It's intense. It's interesting. I recommend doing a lot of research on that. If that is something that you want to venture down, I recommend doing your research and making sure that you know what you're getting into and that you have a safe space to do that. But it's just like anything else, just like ayahuasca or any sort of other psychedelic trip that you go on. The cats are meowing. You hear that? That's what it is. Where was I going to go with this? I was going to go somewhere with this. I thought that it was on here somewhere that it was 5 milligrams of DMT in complete darkness with like a single candlelight. Hey. Ayahuasca truck for the next flight. I mean, maybe. Probably not. Probably not. I won't allow like mushrooms or anything at Flock Fest either because oh my god, could you imagine? No, absolutely not. Was it for quantum computer? I thought that it was for question everything. I could be wrong, or we could both be right. Or we could both be right. The line in Q is the secret passage off the flat world and out of the matrix. So if everything always comes back to fucking flat earth. If we want to look at, so there is the flat earth psyop in here. Look at this. If you, oops, let me undo this comment here. If you go in, it's right here. Like 90% of this map, I know right where everything is. So here's your flat earth psyop, which obviously if you look at everything next to it, you have the World Trade Center controlled demolition. You have the kill your TV, right? Because the best way to brainwash somebody is with a fucking TV. It's this box in the corner, right? That just keeps programming you and hypnotizes you into things. You have 1984, right? You have sheep asleep, weaponized food, engineered diseases, like all of these things right around the flat earth psyop, red pill the masses, right? And then you have the escape the matrix. Another thing that I know I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but I feel like these are like some of the key things that you need to know when you start looking into this is false flags. Here's what I want to say about false flags. A lot of people think that false flags don't happen and that it's all faked. And that's not true. There's a lot of people that have been affected and lost their lives and have been greatly fucked over by some of these false flags. And what a false flag is it's an event that happened. It absolutely happened. It's not like it's fake or anything, but they have staged actors in it. It's been planned. It's been coordinated in such a way for it to go down to scare the masses, like the school shootings and the assassinations and all sorts of other things. They're false flags. They're actually 9/11 was a false flag. It actually happened. It 100% happened, but the reasons behind why it happened and what they told you, that's where the falseness comes in because it was planned. It was supposed to happen that way. Programming people with channels. We should not be Googling anything. Dolores Cannon, yes. Queen Elizabeth is, well, she's been dead, but she's a fucking lizard. I mean, we can get into that. We're the Dolores Cannon and DMT. So here's Dolores Cannon. Here's your DMT. Cannabis is legal, right? Meditation, the law of karma, psychic, intuitive empath. Okay, you have all of these things. Psilocybin, magic mushrooms. Okay, you got all this shit here. Shamans. There's your ayahuasca. Here's all your shit. Oh, another side note. Just before anybody tries to go on some deep fucking rabbit hole, all right, here's this here. This V10. You can't see I'm on the wrong screen. The V10 here, just so you guys know, it stands for version 10. Just before you guys go like research and thinking that it's some fucking thing, it means version 10 of the map. Just FYI. And then the rabbit is obviously to follow the white rabbit, which ties into Alice in Wonderland and going down all of these rabbit holes, right? But yes, to your point, Alicia, Dolores Cannon, quantum healing, hypnosis technique, past life regression. This, you see these arrows, right? That's the QHHT. ties into the light workers, the higher mind, the oversoul, the chakras, opening your pineal gland, doing the yoga, getting into that mindset, right? And allowing your chakras to open up and decalcifying your pineal gland. I knew it was fucking on here. Where is it on the top of the map? Hold on a second. Alicia found it. There it is. There it is. 5 grams in silent meditative darkness. Here you go. There it is. DMT, mushrooms, the whole bit. Thank you. I knew I fucking saw it somewhere. Yeah, V10. It's version 10. I spent too many hours trying to find that out. Version, not virgin. Version. Just have to creatively search the Googles. Yes. Yeah, like the 10th version. There you go. Took me longer than I'd like to admit to figure that out with some help of people. It was a little embarrassing once we figured out what it was. I don't remember where I left off. We were over here. Oh, we were talking about Dolores Cannon and the chakras, quantum hypnosis healing. Hey, am I adding this info to the spreadsheet? I have not added it to the spreadsheet. I haven't touched that spreadsheet and I don't know how long. I got so I can tell you guys here. So what I was doing is I literally took all of the Amy was helping me with this. I took all of the map topics when my link forest got taken down and banned, and I put everything in a spreadsheet that's like all clickable and it's all alphabetized. Every single topic on this map. Amy and I typed everything in to this fucking spreadsheet, and I still have to make the rest of it clickable. And then what we were doing is we were taking all of the research and we were putting it in each category of like links to shit that you could research. And we just it's still there. It's just not finished. We got busy with shit. But that's Flockopedia 2.0 coming to you sometime in the future. So, Sunflower, there is a link in the clickables. If you scroll down, you'll see the Great Awakening map. And not only does he have free downloads of all of this stuff on his site, but he's got a bunch of other shit that you could like. You can get t-shirts, you can get blankets, you can get wall tapestries, you can get where am I here? The maps like I got back here. You can get there's different layouts of different maps that are like set up differently and don't look like a jumbled mess like this, but this is how my brain operates here. So it kind of makes sense for me. I open it regularly, but it's been slow going adding anything. I appreciate that, Amy. We have to get back onto that. So that's a good question. So what Alicia is talking about right here is the Nazi bell, the anti-gravity, and the Vitimas. I don't know if that's how you say that, but that's how I say it. The ancient flying machines, because they are one and the same. And I believe, based on the research that I found out, is that the Nazi bell, right? The anti-gravity, the thing that Hitler was after, like this technology was reverse engineered from these ancient flying machines, and they look the same. Like if you look these up and then you look up the anti-gravity Nazi bell, like it looks the same. It's pretty interesting. Oh, thank you, Purple Princess. Yes, there is the link for the map. Yes, there's so many now. Like when I first found this 3 years ago in the depths of the internet, first of all, we couldn't talk about it at all. We could not talk about it. Everything would get banned and go down. We had to like make up words for this shit. And there was only like 3 or 4 maps available at the time when I got mine. Like that map's almost 3 years old. It's pretty crazy. And I think, yes, the fish tank. We called it the fish tank, the artwork. We had a whole bunch of different names for it. I also, here's something controversial that I'll say that you can either agree or disagree with me on, but I think that it's important to kind of take into consideration is that Nazis existed before Hitler. And Hitler was like, I've done a lot of fucking research on Hitler. And I'm not saying that he was a good or a bad person. I'm not going to go into that. I think he signed deals with the wrong people and got himself involved in some things that he couldn't say no to for other reasons, right? We're never going to know that. But what I will say is that man's thirst for knowledge was impeccable. And he traveled all over the world learning as much as he could from all of these different scientists and cultures and communities and religions and scientists, and just trying to learn as much as he could because he was trying to track down this technology. He was trying to understand the universe. And he did, right? Like he did that. And I feel like, yes, was he the face of all of that nonsense that went on? Absolutely. Was he placed into that position for a reason? Yes, he was. But I think that there needs to be a separation between Nazis and Hitler because they're two separate subjects in my head. Way two different things. The whistleblower UFO guy says the earliest thing he was read in was Recovery in Germany in the late 30s when he got the stories of the Nazi belt. He knew about Banks first. Yes. Like the man was brilliant as far as like the knowledge that he possessed and the way that he went about learning things. He was absolutely brilliant. And like the whole thing about like the Jews and everything. I just watched this TikTok on this the other day. Like that was a whole thing before Hitler ever existed. Like that was a whole thing. So just food for thought. It was recovered in Italy. Hitler was aligned with. His story continues that the U.S. took control of those assets after the war. Yeah, everyone conveniently forgets that part. Absolutely. Absolutely. He was also working with medium Maria Orzik, and I did some research on her too, and she was that's where like the whole Vril and the Tool Society formed and kind of got hijacked because they signed the wrong contracts with the wrong people, right? Or with the wrong, I say people, but they were like otherworldly creatures, right? Those are the contracts that are coming to an end now, right? That's where the disclosure is coming out. But the last letter that she wrote, it was in German and it was translated over. And the last line of the letter that she wrote after she completely disappeared off the face of the earth was, "We're all leaving, nobody's staying here," and then vanished. And my music just stopped. That was weird. Okay. Let's do this. Let's go back out here. Yep, the Federal Reserve, the big bank, all down at this bottom line here. They escape the matrix. Fake news media, false flags, 9/11, Federal Reserve, big banks, big pharma, vaccines, GMO. It just keeps going on and on. Educational indoctrination, taxes, globalism, the new Nazi world order. I mean, there it is right there. The smart meters, the 5G, EMF pollution, the SSN at the very bottom here. That's your social security number, which ties into the maritime law. That's an interesting thing to research. Like if you actually look into Black Law's dictionary and you start dissecting the language and the legalese that they speak in, we are all lost at sea, right? There's a reason why it's called the birth. There's a reason why we all have a fucking serial number. There's a reason why the words are laid out the way that they are, and we use certain things, right? Like a ship will dock at the birth, and there's a manifesto, and you get a birth certificate, right? Like everything that comes off the ship has to have a certificate. And it's this whole thing that goes into, like, we are actually governed by the sea and not by the land. And that's where like the court of law comes in. It goes into this whole thing, and I don't fully understand it enough to explain it, but it's definitely a whole thing. All right, we're gonna take a little cheers break. I have a video for you. It's like 17 seconds, I think. How long is it? I'm sorry, it's 27 seconds. So here, are you ready? Cheers. You guys like that? Yeah, your serial number. Yes. As it relates to the ancient civilizations, this has always been sticking point for me. There's no recovery of human remains. Like, where did everyone go? So here's a theory. This is another cool thing to research. So it's all over this map. Okay, Tibetan rainbow body ascension. It's also up here too. Rainbow body. Return to source. Okay. When you look at, so these Buddhists, they get to, my ear just popped. They get to such a frequency, and they get to such an elevated state that when they die, they literally evaporate into light. Like there's no, let me see if I can pull up a picture quick. Like there is no light body rainbow. There's no body left. Rainbow light body ascension images. See, I want an actual picture and not this like bullshit. But should I just do light body ascension? Would that work better? I want an actual picture of it. It's not going to give me what I want. Maybe, hold on. Here we go. So this guy, that's not what I want to look at. How do I share this? Stop. Share. Share. Okay. Here we go. You see this guy right here? There's his body. Do you see this? He literally evaporates into light. He turns back into light. It's fucking crazy when you actually like dive into it and research it. They didn't go to Antarctica, they went to Argentina. Are you talking about Hitler? Hitler went to Argentina. He escaped to Argentina on a U-boat. Underground. Under the water. Talk about social security numbers. Hey. The solar flash, that's another good one too. Oops. Can we do this again? Okay, there we go. So the solar flash, here's the solar flash right here. So prepare for solar flashes. Survivors of the great solar flash will depend on their mental and spiritual states. So to practice meditation, compassion, and forgiveness for all beings. This has been prophesized in every historical region. And the sun is connected to every other star via filaments in the cosmic web portal, which I struggle with a little bit. All right. But what it's saying is that the AI will not be able to survive the solar flash. So anything that is 100% dependent will not be able to survive, or dependent on AI will not be able to survive this. Where does it say that? It says it here. Those who worship technology, right here it is. Those who worship technology, AI prophet species will be eliminated during great solar flashes for 1,000 years because they're not going to be able to withstand it. But have you noticed, like they have them on TikTok, these solar flashes, like you see these like these things like coming off of the sun, right? Like these flashes and these orbs leaving the sun. And I feel like the sun not only has changed color, but it has gotten so much more intense. Is that a way to put that? Like it is super fucking intense versus like I remember as a kid, like it was never that fucking intense and it was yellow. It was never white. So these solar flashes also, for me, the way that I understand it, it ties into the Schumann resonance too, right? Like everything, like the frequency of everything is amplified, is getting amplified, is starting to try and shake this bullshit that's happening, is the way that I understand it. I think the sun is a portal. I don't think that the sun produces heat and light. I think it allows it to pass through. Right? Like it doesn't make any sense for it to be producing light for me. It makes sense that it's like a hole and there's light coming through that portal. Does that make sense? You're not behind. So nobody's behind. It's just everybody. Look at this map. Look at this map. Let's hold on a second. Let's back. Look at this. So there's over 800 points on this map. Okay. You're not behind. And that's one of the reasons that this entire flock like came together and how everybody is where we're at now, okay, is that you may have started up here and I may have started down here and somebody else may have started over here and this other person started over here. It doesn't matter where you start. You're not behind. You're just taking a different route. But at the end of the day, we're all after the same goal, right? We're all after the same thing. That's why I get so irritated with people that come at me and want to try and, argue about like the names and the titles of things and what they believe in and what they don't believe in. And well, you don't believe in my God and I don't believe in your gods and blah, 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 blah. Who the fuck cares? First of all, believe in whatever the fuck you want, because at the end of the day, we're arguing about titles. And at the end of the day, none of this shit matters. Absolutely none of it matters. All that matters is that you find north in here, right? Is that you go in and you make yourself better for the betterment of everybody else, right? That's what this is all about. That's the planetary ascension theory. That's what this whole thing is about. All of this 9 to 5 making money bullshit, the fucking followers on TikTok, figuring this out. Who is the earth flat? Is the earth round? All this is, honestly, is a fucking distraction. All of it. Yeah. Do you learn some skills along the way? Do you have a greater understanding of some things that you didn't before, which helps you in the long run? Yes. But can you get there without this? Yeah, you can. You can. Yeah. North is in. North is in. Even on a flat earth map, right? Like you have north is in. North is always in. We always thought north was up, right? Like they pulled down the map in school, right? Do you remember that? And north was always up. Like whenever you looked at the compass, north was always up. North isn't up. North is in. North is into the center. Like that's always where it goes. Only come here seeking knowledge. Exactly. My goal is to just know what's going on. I don't like being lied to. I'm not an activist. I'm not changing anyone's mind, but I want to know. Exactly. Exactly. We're all talking about it and learning about it, and that's what it's important. It's not a race, it's a journey. Everyone has to start somewhere. Even experts were once beginners. Just remember that. Like, and I feel here's another thing that I want to say is I feel like there's a lot of people, and I've done this too, is you look at something and you're like, damn, like, wow, like this person's like super successful in this, or like wicked smart about that, or look what this person's. Keep in mind that 9 times out of 10, you're catching that end result. You're catching that last phase that somebody is on. You're catching just the break of success, right? What you don't see is the years of struggle, is all of the learning, is all of the work that went into that, the trials, the failures, the figuring it out, right? Like sometimes all you step into is the success and you just see that. You're like, well, damn, I can't do it because I'm not whatever. That's not true. That's not true. Just because you don't see the path that somebody took to get there doesn't mean that you can't do it too. Just keep that in mind. There's my pep talk for the day. Okay, that's the live. That's it. Yeah, the minute that somebody comes and says that they know everything, they know nothing. I know that they know nothing because you never stop learning. You absolutely never stop learning. And I think it's important to learn as much as you can from all of these different avenues and different teachings and different aspects of it and take what resonates and leave the rest and build your own. That's what I do with everything, with training animals, with horses, with my spiritual practice, with teaching this shit. Like I take what resonates and I leave the rest and I find different things that work for me and I kind of build my own thing because that's what it is. It's what works for you. It's not about copying somebody else. It's not about being like somebody else. It's about what works for you. Yes, I'll take a curious novice over an egotistical expert any day of the week. Exactly. Exactly. All right, flockers. This was a good live. If you guys have any other map topics, make sure you go back to that video or drop them in Telegram and I will sporadically continue to do these. Like I said, this podcast is just a little bit of everything and whatever we're feeling at the time. So, thank you guys for joining. I hope that this was somewhat educational or mind opening, maybe. You guys have a fantastic night, and I will see y'all later. Bye.